Yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello, hello. It is indeed. It's Monday. It's Monday night yet again. But we're a man down. Man down. We are indeed a man down. There's only two of us tonight. Only two. It's such a shame. But there you go. We're short of Marco. We are short of Marco, aren't we, Matt?
We are. He's poorly sick.
Poorly bad in bed with a shawl on, both feet in one sock, waiting for the doctor to come and rub his chest with Vic. But Vic's been on the phone to us and he can't get down. So, poor Marco. It's, however, he's bottling his exudations, isn't he?
Apparently so, yes. He's very thick.
Yes. Pure VG, pretty much, is what he's exuding down his snotter. So, look out on your shelves for Marco's mutant mucus. It's going to be the juice to go for. I hope he's not watching him thump the pair away. Oh, dearie. Yes, poor, Gareth and Gavin has said, poor Marco. It's poor Marco. All together now. No, more than that. More than that. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Sputs is in. Sputs is in on Periscope.
Oh,
Sputs.
All
right, mate.
He's a bit late tonight.
Apparently
he should
so.
Be sorry.
Yeah.
He should be sorry.
Should be sorry. Yes. Go into a corner and flagellate mightily.
We're already getting questions in from chat, you know.
Oh, do tell.
Paul Wilkins is asking, can you confirm if the Glasgow School of Vape is going on this year?
Oh, I can neither confirm nor deny. Honestly, I can't. My mate Andy will know, but Andy's out at the minute. What I will do, because I can do this, I'm talking to Andy Morrison tomorrow night, because we've got an NNA board meeting. So I'll speak to Andy and say, do we know what's happening with it? And as soon as I know anything, I shall periscope here on the VTTV channel. How does that sound?
Oh, there you go. That's a public service, that isn't
it? It's a public service announcement. That's what we'll do. We'll make a public service announcement in service of the public with respect to Glasgow School of Vape. Hiya, Plop NL. I'm sure that's got something to do with Holland, you know.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you put fingers in dikes, isn't it, though?
I thought that was Brighton.
No, that's not the water.
Oh, right, sorry.
That one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, no, I misunderstood. I misunderstood. We're not allowed to say things like that, though.
Aren't we?
Well, apparently not.
Oh.
Do I look bothered?
Yeah, really, really, really bothered.
Yeah, well, I'm a biker granda, you see. Now bothers me. Look, bike granda. Got that off my grandbands, that. Bike granda. Gareth and Gavin have even invited followers on the scope of Periscope, don't you know?
Sputs is just doing it again.
Yeah,
what the hell is he doing?
He's in and out like a fiddler's elbow.
Oh, right, okay.
These things happen, you know. These things happen.
Is he going to stay now?
I think so. I think he probably is. We've got an unpacked show for you all tonight. Matt and I were talking a little bit earlier about what we're going to be talking about, and you'll have seen that the title of the show is The King Beast and the Show Girl. Hello, Morph. Mrs. Jones has joined as well. They're all coming in on Periscope. Maybe his YouTube's crap, I don't know.
Russian showgirls, what the hell is he on about now?
What?
Jay Summers.
What's he said? John, what's he said?
He says, so, Russian showgirls?
Russian showgirls?
Yeah, I've got a bevy of them around the corner here, actually. I'll just wheel them in, shall I?
See, Gareth and Gavin, they've got it right. TFV 12. That's the King Beast. And this is the show. Girls. The comma.
Ah. Right.
I mean, you know. Oh, Jim Ignatowski, too, has also joined. That's always good. We like that. Oh, he's got Paul's got them both open. He's multitasking, or he's a dual user.
Right. Either that or he's comparing the delays.
Well,
that's a game in itself, that is.
It is. J.E. Vapes also joined, and Gareth and Gavin says me too. Me 3. You 4?
I have no idea. Maybe.
Sprague, Pete, has also joined on Purse. I'm reading people out as I see them come in because I think it's nice to do that. and to say hello and welcome and thank you for joining us and stuff like that. Hearts. Send hearts. I don't know what the hell it does, but send hearts. So yes, tonight we're going to be talking about the TFV12, which is completely, totally and utterly illegal in the UK and all around the EU. And do we care?
No.
No, we don't care. So we're going to... How's the cold? Can you not hear? Oh, Super 7's there as well. The cold. I've just been asked how my cold is. I'm going to ask you how yours is first.
It's going, finally. It's still there, though.
I'm at that thick stage.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know that bit where your nose gets blocked up?
Yeah.
And then you go to... Yes, exactly, Gareth, exactly.
We were actually discussing the mucus earlier.
Yes.
As to illustrate the point there.
Exactly.
Yours is not luminous, though, is it?
No, it's clear. Mine's perfectly clear. I'm not infected, I'm just snotty. Which is nice to know, because Keith's next door, and I don't want to, I can't have anything getting in his direction. That would be awful. He said, rules are made to be broken. That's exactly right. We'll talk about that in a bit. But you see, how is Keith? Alan in Tadley has asked. Right, did I tell you all this? I can't remember, but I will. You don't mind, do you, Matt?
No, I'm working on the update.
We went round to see Keith before Jill and I fell foul of this disgusting cold. And did I say it? I'm sure I told people, but I'll tell you again. He's had a report card, for want of a better term, from the consultant, Professor Dark. Now, to lay the groundwork a little bit, the background, the backstory, Professor Dark is the top lad for this kind of thing, not just in the country, but in the world. He is a pioneer. And where other people have an 85% failure rate in what he did with Keith, he's got an 85% success rate. That's how good he is, right? He's the best at the game. So if he says this is how it stands, it's not going to be wrong. And what he said is the elephant's trunk, frozen elephant's trunk that went in on the aorta is now completely healed. It's totally knitted. There's no leaks, there's no nothing. Everything is hunky-dory. And it appears to have stopped the other aneurysms from moving and swelling, and it may well be that they don't need to do anything with those aneurysms. That's the first thing, and that's like the best thing. Keith had lost an awful lot of weight, and he said, don't worry about that. That'll come back naturally, because as the antibiotics and everything that he's been on to make sure everything knits and heals, as they get sorted out and get, waned off, as it were, when he's down to 0 milligram antibiotics, then his appetite will return automatically. And within 6 months, I reckon 6 months, well, it'll be 5.5 months now, he'll be back to 100%. And when we saw him, he's walking about and breathing, pouring himself a glass of beer. It's all good. What are you smiling at?
I just quite like the fact that he's come out of hospital and poured himself a glass of beer. I think that's just superb.
I think it's remarkable. I think it's lovely.
Right.
Mind you, I will say, because I know Vicky's not watching this, he's milking it for everything he can get.
Good man.
He's I could really do. Oh yes, the Professor Dark had said that digestive biscuits were a good idea. Apparently they're a superfood, and chocolate digestives are even more of a superfood. So it's when we were sitting to, Vicky, you would better get some of those digestives sorted. Chocolate ones, they're the superfood. So off she toddled. Yes, you're right, Gareth and Gavin. He does bloody right. And I'd be doing exactly the same. I'll be honest, I would. He's milking it for everything he can get, and God bless him. I hope it works out. Well, it will. It will. He went out today. He looked like a Russian oligarch in the car off to one of the appointments with his big furry hat on, right? And sat there with Vicky driving, and you just onward. Don't spare the horses. Off we go. So he's doing canny. He's doing canny. And if I haven't said so before, thank you to everybody that sent their best wishes and did whatever they did with their gods in order to wish him well and speed his recovery. It's been Brilliant, thank you so much, I appreciate it, and I'm sure, well I know, because we told him, when I told him about all the messages that he'd had, that everybody said and asked us to pass on, he welled up. He welled up, so I had to crack a knob joke to stop him from crying.
Is it getting through to him now that he's a well-liked and a well-enjoyed person to view on? No, it's not, is it?
Nah. He's so modest and so self-effacing. It just doesn't ring a bell for him. He cannot see. And you know, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice when you like that. It's nice when you like that. So that filled 5 minutes, didn't it?
It did pretty much on the dot, actually.
Oh, it's a running joke. If you've never watched VTTV before, we've occasionally had to fill 5 minutes. That was off the cuff and wasn't intentional. But there you go, that's where Keith is. Now, to kind of fade into where the rest of the evening is going to go, there's a bit of video that I would like you to watch. And this has come from Big Tom. And I make no apologies, we've nicked it off Facebook because I didn't dare play it in from Facebook. Because you can never guarantee it's going to work. But this was the BBC News, I don't know when, but have a listen. And BBC, this is called Fair Use, because we're going to talk it through and criticise it, so no takedowns. BBC News, you know Hugh Pym, don't you?
No, actually I don't.
He's got a drink named after him.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He's got the time of day named after him.
Yeah, absolutely right. He's fruity and effervescent. Or effervescent. But nobody can be as effervescent as Sav. Fly Vape Life has just said, how's it going, boys? It's going great. Watch this.
Concerns have been raised about new EU rules which will affect the variety of e-cigarette and vaping liquid products on sale in the UK. The government says the tighter controls on nicotine strength and the size of devices are part of a drive to improve public health and protect children. Our health editor Hugh Pym reports.
More people are vaping, many are former smokers trying to kick the habit. But new regulations will restrict what's available, and that's stoked up the conversation about e-cigarettes. The new rules will apply to the liquid, which includes nicotine and flavourings, and the storage tanks in the devices. The liquid is heated to produce a vapour. Health experts say it's much safer to inhale than tobacco smoke. Companies like this, which make e-cigarettes and liquids, claim they'll be hit hard by the new regulations, which come from a European directive.
Our business will change dramatically. We'll no longer be able to sell a whole range of products that we are currently able to sell. It will constrain significantly the range of fluids that we sell to our customers and reduce choice.
The EU Tobacco Products Directive will remove from sale bottles larger than 10 millilitres and e-cigarettes with tanks larger than 2 millilitres. There are also limits on nicotine strength.
And that's another very large one.
John, who's a former smoker, says he needs e-cigarettes with larger tanks because he does long drives for his work, but the devices and liquids he prefers will no longer be available.
I'm bitterly disappointed. Really disappointed.
Might it make you think again about vaping?
I would sincerely hope not, but depending on how obstructive I find it, I may well return to tobacco products.
Very simple.
Some public health experts agree that reducing choice in the e-cigarette market might move people back to tobacco. At this service in Leicester, smokers are encouraged to try e-cigarettes along with other products like nicotine gum.
I think the risk is that they will go back to smoking if they can't get the satisfaction from the strong enough liquid, big enough tanks, big enough batteries. They may well go back to smoking because it's so much easier to buy cigarettes. They're always there, they're always around.
There's some confusion swirling around this issue. Those who argue for the health benefits of e-cigarettes say it's illogical to include them in a tobacco directive when they don't contain tobacco. The other side of the argument, though, is that they need to be regulated as consumer products to give more protection to those who come into contact with them.
There are more potential risks from exposure of the products to children who may suffer from toxicity and overdose, from making sure that people have available information so that they can make an informed choice about their product. And the directive also sets minimum standards of quality and safety for these products.
The debate is far from over. Some argue we don't know enough yet about e-cigarettes to be sure of the health impact. Others say too much regulation will damage the effort to get people to quit smoking. Hugh Pym, BBC News.
And there you were, that was Hugh Pym on BBC News. And Fly Vape Life has just said, vaping saved my life. Seriously, I wish they'd just stop this nonsense. It's disgusting. You and me both. You and me both.
Aye.
Look, I mean, Beryl Keeley there, she's a nice enough lass. I've met her, I've spoken to her, she's all right. But she's got that medical thing, the medicinal thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yes, the children card, exactly right, Paul. And no, I don't know when it was broadcast. I was trying to work it out by the banner thing going under the bottom. And
what I was enjoying, actually, the banner thing, it was on about the children. It was about a dog that bit 11 kids.
Yes. Yes,
Oh, well.
it's from last May. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah's just said the report is from last May, but it's as important today, in truth, because it exemplifies what's going to be happening and why what we're about to talk about in a little while is illegal, and it shouldn't be. Shall we talk about it now, shall we?
No, let's go for it.
Let's talk about it now. We'll talk about it now, and the reason we're going to talk about it now is precisely because it's bloody illegal. Right, there you go. That's the name of it. It's the Cloud Beast King, the TFV12. And I have one in my hand to show you, which I need to unscrew off the top of this Real RX 3000. I shall whip that out of the way. Whip, goes very white, and then here it is. Look, there it is. And to give you some idea, I shall put beside it a TFV8 and lay them on the table so you can make your own comparisons. It's slightly longer. It is already illegal in the UK. That's what I'm telling you. Fly Vape Life has just said, right? Look, there they are. If I can get the bases together, you can see the silver one, this one here, that's the TFV12, and it is bigger. It's bigger all round. It's a higher capacity, slightly 6 millilitres, and a 12 coil core. Now, as it stands at the minute, you should not be legally able to buy these things in the UK. And I have heard that there are some people who have been, get this, Matt, ringing up trading standards and saying, did you know that such and such down the high street stocking TFV12s and they haven't been notified and they're illegal?
Really?
Yes. This is what I've been hearing. I don't know who. I've got a bloody good idea why. And I've got a message for them, which will wait until the end of the programme. But Gareth and Gavin on Periscope have pretty much got it right, bar stewards. And Fly Vape Life has said, I don't know what people get out of that, but saw it on Facebook. I mean, for crying out loud. All right, it might not have been notified prior to November the 19th, but this is what we've been up against for so long. The bottom line with these things is that is an advancement, if you like, on the TFV8. Now, what do I need to tell you about it in terms of a review? But I kind of don't really want to.
I think, Dave, it might be worthwhile explaining why it's illegal, because we just got a couple of comments on the Periscope saying it's not May yet.
No, I know it's not May, but right.
Yeah.
Okay. All that bit from the BBC News, the law came in on May the 20th last year, in 2016. And by May the 20th of this year, it has to be fully implemented. And as part of the transition, what they said was, you've got to notify stuff that won't be compliant with the TPD, or in fact the TRPR, the Tobacco and Related Products Regulations, is what they are in the UK. So they had to be notified prior to the 19th of November in order to be sold through up until May the 19th of this year. That wasn't. It wasn't available until February. So although the full TPD is not yet fully implemented, at the moment that is illegal to sell because it hasn't been notified as non-compliant prior to November the 19th, 2016. How ineffably stupid is that?
Incredibly. Obviously.
I mean, you know, it's this notification by product. The TFV8, which I have in my hand here, was notified prior to November the 19th. That can be sold. You can see, as I showed you earlier on, what they look like side by side. One is just a slightly bigger version of the other that's big enough to take more coils in its core. And because of that, it cannot legally be sold. Now, I've managed to buy one, and I bought it in the UK. And I'm not going to tell you where I bought it, because I think it was shipped from outside the EU, Amazon. Well, I said when I looked at it on Periscope, I said Amazon's your friend. Now, is it greatly different from a TFV8? A TFV8 with the 10 coil core in, and this with the 12 core, there's not a fat lot of difference. It's running at a higher wattage because I'm running each coil at mouth to lung levels. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
As Gareth and Gavin has said, other vendors are available. But yeah, listen, right. I mean, we've got to cover this, haven't we? I think everybody knows what my stance is, but I'm going to let you have a pop at it first, I think, and let folks know what your stance on it is.
My stance on stuff that shouldn't technically be available over here?
Yep.
If someone wants to sell it to me, I'm going to buy it. Put it that way. If I want it and someone wants to sell it, I will buy it from them. I don't care. Simply put.
Right. What's your take on this notion then of other vendors noticing that somebody's got a TFV12 for sale, whether it's in the window or behind the counter or under the counter or out in the back room or in the van outside, ringing Trading Standards up and saying, yeah, did you know so-and-so down the road, like flogging them TFV12s and it's illegal? What do you make of that?
I hope it comes back and bites them in the arse, frankly. I really do. Because it's plainly obvious the reason they're doing that. They're trying to get rid of their competition.
Yes.
It's that simple.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it at all. And in fact, the only thing that I could wish for them would be a combination of three things. Lockjaw, a blowjob and sneezing. Super Sevens just said it. The EU making law-abiding people into prison fodder. That's exactly it. And as Morph has said, Paul has said, for those whistleblowers, it's a surefire way of pissing people off. And Sputs has said it will bite them when the vapors find out who they are. That's true. It'll not be difficult, will it? Mm. Because I believe the accuser has to be named if there's a court case. There is a way around it, of course, but it's going to take balls of steel to do this.
Go on.
Well, I wish I had a dry one with no juice in. If the core is taken out and the glass is removed and they are packaged in a separate little padded box, then what you are buying in the big black box is not notifiable. It's not an e-cig. No part of it can be used as an e-cig. Right?
Yes.
And if, when you get your two boxes home, you decide to put it together and make it into a TFV12, well, that's up to you, because it's at the point of sale.
Aye.
Now, any vendor doing that, I would imagine these little coppers and arcs that are, Trading Standards and arcs that are going around the place, will still have a go at them and it would have to go to court, and it would cost some money, and it would need balls of steel, but it would show it up for being the farcical nonsense that it is. Need a drink? Scratchy throat. Do apologise. These calls are terrible.
Aye.
Go on.
They are. Come May the 20th, I mean, how many people are you going to see that are not using? Did I phrase that right? How many people are you going to be seeing using come May the 20th non-compliant stuff? Pretty much everybody. Well, it's not illegal to use it.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not illegal to own it. It's not illegal to use it. It's only illegal to sell it. And it is illegal to sell it now. And that is just completely, totally and utterly stupid as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
It makes no sense. I mean, I kind of get the thing about, you know, juices that are packaged up to look like a carton of orange juice or a carton of apple juice. Yeah, you know, fair enough. Right, fine. It's bloody stupid. And also the stuff that says it's Smarties or Skittles or Blackjacks or anything like that. Anything that's infringing trademarks. Stupid idea. Don't do it. The vendors that do it are idiots. And the people that buy it are just encouraging them. So, you know, let's not go there. Let's not touch that. But this, I keep banging on about the pleasure principle. And it took me a long while to properly realise what was going on. But the bottom line on it is, over an hour, if you put me and 34 other vapors together, each in our own little rooms, and measured how much vapour was produced over an hour, we'd all produce around about the same.
Yeah.
You know, if you take a massive big lungful and give it hot licks and then breathe it out, you don't do that again straight away.
No.
Even the you know, the daftest of the daft lads, we just don't do. It doesn't happen. So over a course of an hour, we'll produce around about the same as somebody that's sitting backwards and forwards with an MTL. That's just the way that goes. Whether you like the look of it or not, it's neither here nor there. Let's just look at the science of it. But the bottom line on it is, no matter how you vape, you're producing serotonins and all of the other nice things that are the produce of pleasure in the brain. Yes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, if this TFV12 gives me more pleasure than, oh God, an ego with a CE4 on top, or a cigar like, or anything else you care to mention. If that, I know you did Morph. Morph wrote about this recently. It was very good. And I don't mean that condescendingly either. It was very good. And people, if you haven't read Morph's stuff, go and read it. Really, seriously, it's very good. If this is going to give me more pleasure than I would get out of something else, then from the public health standpoint, you know, these people that want nobody to smoke. From the public health standpoint, if I'm getting more pleasure out of this than I am out of anything else, including cigars, pipes, and lit tobacco in all of its various different forms, then surely to God, it's a good thing. As Super Seven's pointed out, he's got all the kit he needs. It's new vapors that are going to get kicked in the arse. Because, and again, I've got witnesses for this. Glasgow School of Vape was mentioned earlier on. I was up there when some people from Cancer Research UK turned up, a couple of girls. I use that as a generic term for female of the species. The girls, everybody's a girl to me. I'm so bloody old these days. And we want to have a go, do you? So, well, I've got nicotine in mine. Oh, that's all right. Sorry? Oh, that's all right. What? How much is there in? It was 3 milligram that was in at the time. Hello, Taffy Jock, just in time, mate. So she took it. And I will demonstrate now exactly what she did. Are you ready for this? This is going to scare people. It will. She went like this. Do I press that button? Yes. Ah. And I and Andy Morrison stood and looked at her, and we both went, "What are you doing?" She says, is that not how you do it? I said, "It's how I do it. I didn't expect you to do it." She said, "What did you expect?" And then Andy got his out, little mouth to lung job, and he took a mouth to lung toot, blew a little bit of vapour out, as you do. And she says, "Oh, tried Andy's. No, I prefer this one." So, the bottom line on it is, the pleasure principle works in this regard, and if that's going to give you more enjoyment, if that satisfies you more, then who the hell are the nannies to say you can't have it? And that was basically what was being said in that BBC piece from last year. I'd love to see an update on it now. I really would. So, that's TFV 12. Illegal to sell, legal to buy. If you can find somebody to buy it off and you want to give it a go, give it a go. I say, and Matt says, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Actually, here's a question. Is it illegal to buy it, or is it only illegal to sell it?
It's illegal to sell it.
But it's not illegal to receive it?
No, you can buy out you like.
Yeah. Okay. I just think that's a bit of a distinction, that's all.
Well, it is. It's a massive distinction, and the idea is to scare the living shit out of folks that sell stuff that people want. It's not like prostitution or drugs, where you can be done for buying either. That's illegal because possession of illegal drugs is illegal.
Yep.
Schedule D and A and B and God knows what else. And you can be done for soliciting if you go to try and buy the services of a young or otherwise lady during the course of an evening. That's an illegal activity. But buying stuff like this is not illegal. It's a bit like the old CB radio days, says Sputs, where it was perfectly legal. This is true, because I was a campaigner on that as well. Perfectly legal to own, it was just illegal to press the button and transmit. Of course, we never did. We just listened to everybody else that was doing it. He said, lying through his teeth. Of course we did.
I might have spoken to you all those years ago. I remember playing with my dad's my mate's dad's CB radio.
What was
never know.
What was your handle?
Oh Christ, I can't remember that.
Mine was Mummy's boy.
Remember.
I was Mummy's boy. Jill was Daddy's girl. We used to get some crack and skip into South Africa, and once managed to bounce a signal around to Australia, but that's a whole other... Sputs was Sputnik. Well, there you are.
Sputnik.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Those were the days.
After ZZ Sputnik, by any chance? Just throwing it out there.
You never just know, do you?
No.
You never just do. But yeah, so all of this nonsense about the TPD, which I'm well up for fighting against, and have been since the very start of it. Oh, it was the satellite. Morph remembers C. You can't remember CB. You're far too young. You were only just born. He's just a baby. He's just a baby. He's just a baby. And a board member though. Trustee.
Oh,
good lad.
Decent fellow then.
Oh, of course he is.
Aye.
Yeah. As a trustee of the New Nicotine Alliance, I think he's got his head screwed on the right way. Unlike, it has to be said, certain employees of other so-called health charities.
Yeah, okay.
I
just told you where you were going with that one.
I'm sorry, did that seamless link catch you unawares?
Just a bit, yes.
Yes, it might not be the longest show tonight, but it's going to be fairly controversial. David might find himself in a bit of hot water after this, but this is the seamless link. Deborah Arnott is a harridan. She's a tosser and she's dead to me. And you want to know why? Shall we go where we went?
Go on, let's go where we went.
Hang on a minute. Super 7 had a good shag thanks to CB and he's not talking tobacco. I bet it wasn't Deborah. A5 Almonds just joined as well. That's a whole load of nuts on a main road somewhere. Yeah, right. Now, you might be aware that over the last week or 10 days, Ash has come up with a barrel load of shite. There's no other word for it. They've published this save money by switching or quitting thing, right? And it's all, you see, they're clever. I'll give them that, they are clever. They looked at the vape to save that's been going on in New Zealand that Rebecca Rufio instigated after I'd been over there, and she spoke to me at quite a while, and she worked out that if you buy wisely and were buying legally prior to that, i.e. in smoking, then you can save a shed load of cash by vaping. You just can, right? And Rebecca started this thing up, what is it? It's over a year ago, right? And by now, she's had dozens and dozens and dozens of people, bearing in mind, while New Zealand's a big place, there's not a lot of people there. I mean, you know, there's more people in London, apparently, than there is in New Zealand. There's more sheep in New Zealand than there is in the rest of the world, but that's another thing.
Except Wales.
Except Wales. Yeah, but they use them for different purposes there.
They do, yes.
It's their leisure centres. Yes. Rebecca set this up, and a whole load, it was specifically really for her Maori folk, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of people have switched, and they're saving money left, right and centre, and it helps address what they call health inequalities. So this health inequality thing is what Ash were looking at, and they've kind of aped the overall ethos of the vape to save that Rebecca came up with, and said, well, switch and it'll save you money. Now, someone else working in public health for whom I've got a lot of time, right? And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know who she is. She's got her head screwed on the right way. I've got a lot of time for her. She's pro-choice. She's against coercion. She's good that way. Took some time out of her life to criticise and say, right, but actually, if you are buying what they call chop in Australia, in other words, loose, illegitimate tobacco and rolling your own, there are no savings to be made by switching. There just aren't, because the costs are so low, and they buy the low cost stuff because they haven't got a lot of money. And it would probably, in a situation like that, cost those folks more to move to e-cigs to make the switch. So there was this little bit of criticism, and I don't know exactly what it was, but it turned out anyway that Ms. Arnott picked the phone up and rang her and gave her a right slagging off. Told her all kinds of stuff that wasn't particularly friendly or nice. That's the first thing. Now, all right, I apparently transgressed when I said I didn't think a photo was appropriate for a message on Facebook. But the poster of that came back, explained his reasons, regretted that I'd done it publicly. Well, I don't regret doing it publicly, because I'll call stuff out like that all the time. I don't, you know that little filter you have between brain and mouth, Matt?
I've heard about it.
Your picture's frozen.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. Oh no, it's back now.
Oh, okay.
That filter between brain and mouth, it works the same on my fingers. I haven't got one. If I think something, I say it. That's just the way it is. So what you say is what you get, and it doesn't matter whether I'm drunk or sober, I'm the same. If I think it, I'll say it. And I make no apologies for it. I've been like that all my life, and that's just the way it is. So he regretted that. Well, that's fine. And if I've upset anybody, then I apologise for upsetting you, but I don't apologise for what I've said. That easy. But that was kind of, it was reasoned. I didn't get it taken off. But this other lady got a right ticking off, and she was upset enough about it to tweet about it, and that'll tell you, because she doesn't often do things like that. But if that wasn't enough, right, if that wasn't enough, and we as vapers need to be wary of this, and I'll tell you why after I've told you the story. There was an Ash position statement in a piece in the paper. As you may know, there's an NHS trust that has refused the Public Health England call to ban all smoking on all hospital grounds. They said, no, we're not going to do it. Because the last time we tried it, everybody that was a smoker, and that included staff as well as patients with drips and what have you, went out of the grounds onto a road that is massively dangerous, where there's cars and buses and things mounting the pavement and stuff like that. And then, oh, you've gone blurry now.
Yeah, so the camera's playing up. Carry on, I'm trying to sort it out.
Okie dokie. I'll switch to another shot then, so you can sort it out, and then I'll say, right. So what happened? They got the quote, and the quote came back and said, well, there's 200,000 people a year die from smoking, and only 20,000 or something that die in road traffic accidents. So let them stand out there. That was the subtext. It's fine, it's all right. Fewer will die. And I, like many on Twitter, look at that and think, what the fuck? You are? Just, why would anybody even think of doing that? But then, you've got to remember, disgusted, yes, I was disgusted, Spuds. But then, this is the woman who said, when it came to the 20 milligram, that there's only 25% of vapors, only 25% of vapors that use above 20 milligram, 24, 32, 36 or whatever. There's only 25% of vapors. So the 20 milligram won't actually make that much of a difference. I have no idea what's happened there. That's all gone to hell in a handcart. We'll try that again. Come on, G. There you go. So there's now 2.5 million, 2.8 million vapors in the country.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
25% of which is 700,000, isn't it? 2.8 million, 700,000 people. 700,000 people who want to use 24, 32, 36 milligram juice. They don't matter to Ms. Arnott at Ash. She couldn't give a shit. So here's where I am, and where I would love every other vapor to be. But the choice is yours, but this is just the way I think. One, she's dead to me, and I'll blank her wherever she goes. If she opens her mouth anytime I'm speaking, I'll shout her down. That's for an absolute certain fact. 3, she is no friend to vapors at all. And indeed, I would ask every vapor to join with me in opposing anything Ash come up with to do with smoking or vaping, because it's now become perfectly obvious that cow will come for us when she's finished with smokers. That's my opinion. Would you agree, Matt?
100%. It's incredibly clear what our agenda is, isn't it?
Isn't it, though?
It couldn't be clearer. It really couldn't be. It wasn't long ago she's going about, oh, vaping's great and everything else, and hang on.
It's only, look, you know, I keep on bleating on and belting on about the medicinalisation of vaping. Mm-hmm. And people kind of say, no, it's not about it, but it is. Because the bottom line on it is, when Arnott and Mean were across in Brussels talking about these things, they were medicines. It's got to be medicinally regulated. Why the hell do you think the MHRA is doing all the notifications? Why has the MHRA got it? Why? Why wasn't another body that knows what it's doing set up to see the regulation of e-cigs? I mean, aside from all the nonsense that the TPD actually is, why did it go to the Medicines and Healthcare Regulatory Authority? It's because they wanted it, because no matter what Beryl Keeley says, the people with influence, and we're talking about the likes of Ash, we're talking about the likes of Fresh and God knows who else, would love to see it as a medicine. Why? Well, there's a reason that they're called tobacco control. And that's what it's all about. It's about controlling what you can and can't have. Now, think about this. TFV12. They have controlled the situation such that whoever it is that sells me that is breaking the law. The idea being to stop them from doing that, to control my life by preventing me from buying what I want to buy that is going to suit me, and via the pleasure principle achieve what they spent 40 years trying to achieve and couldn't, and e-cigs did in a fortnight. It's about control. It's about them controlling your life. And we, as vapers, have got to stop the bastards from doing it, because they're going to control our lives away. Look, I'm a biker. I'm a biker grandad. And I like going out and riding on my bike. And okay, fair enough, I've got to wear a skid lid. I would wear one anyway. I object to being told I've got to, but I would wear one anyway. I wear leathers, I wear all of the protective gear, yes I do. But I go out there to enjoy my bloody self. And they would really rather I didn't go out and ride about on a motorbike, which is why they've made it harder and harder and harder to pass a bloody test to ride a motorbike, and made it more and more expensive to do it. They're out to control us, and we need to stop them from doing it. Somebody, or Super 7, has just said, shut Ash down, the NHS needs the money. Bloody right. If they weren't paying the inflated salaries that those buggers were on, what could they do? Well, how many nurses would that buy? You any idea, Matt?
I haven't the foggiest, I've got to be honest with you. I haven't the foggiest. More than one, I would imagine.
Oh, substantially more than one on the wages the poor girls and boys are on. It boils my piss, it really does. Absolutely boils my piss.
And there's the meat of the matter, isn't it? I mean, they're getting these salaries for telling us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And once they do finally eradicate the evil that is cigarettes in their warped little brain, they need to justify their salaries even more, don't they?
Well, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, have you seen A Billion Lives yet, or did you not manage?
I haven't got to see it, no.
Right, I saw it in Warsaw. And the bottom line on it is the conflicts that these people are working under are enormous. Utterly enormous. And when I say conflicts, I mean salaries. There is so much money now being poured into anti-tobacco and anti-vaping rhetoric, research, studies, people working on it all. If it all stopped tomorrow, there'd be probably 20 or 30,000 people in the UK out of a job at a stroke. Good. Yeah. Good. There should be. Look, let's be right about it. You saw Granny Louise Ross, on that video. Now, I've got a lot of time for Louise. We've spent a lot of time talking to each other. She's asked my advice, I've asked her advice, and it's all good. Louise is pro-choice. She understands how things go. Yes, she'd like to see fewer people smoking. There's a lot of people feel that way, and that's fine. But she doesn't go at it with a sledgehammer in her hand, and she doesn't coerce. People go to her, and that's cool. If somebody wants to go and seek help, that's when people are entitled to help. What Deborah Arnott wants to do is help people that don't want the help. She wants to coerce people. Ash just wants you to stop. I don't know why they want you to stop, because when you've stopped, and when they've had their go with vaping, when nobody's using nicotine at all, they're all out of a bloody job, but she's probably thinking she won't live that long. Well, that might be the case. I'm not expressing a wish here. But look, I've lost my thread now. Yes, if Louise wasn't doing what she's doing with e-cigs, and doing it pretty much the right way, I think, then her stop smoking service would be like so many others, defunded, because they don't represent value for money. Do you know what the cost is per complete quit? 12-month quit.
A 12-month. I thought a complete quit was measured in a matter of weeks.
Well, it's 4 weeks or 12 weeks, but I'm talking about a 12-month complete quit.
Okay. That's for a figure there, say 3,000.
No.
Okay.
Go higher. Yeah. Go higher.
No. 10?
No. You're not even in the right ballpark. Think about a complete clearance at snooker.
You got me going there now. I'm basically for years.
Complete clearance from scratch at snooker.
A 147?
147,000. That's the cost of a 12-month quit.
Really?
Yes.
How?
Well, when you take into account all of the salaries, right?
Uh-huh.
And what gets spent on all of the NRT and the Champix and all the various other stuff, and the banners and the cost of all the stop smoking services up and down the UK, and then you look at the number of people who at the end of 12 months have quit. Remember that the failure rate is 93%.
Yep.
So all of that money gets spent for the benefit of the 7% of aspirants for whom it works. And that works out at £147,000 per 12-month quit.
Bloody hell.
That is a shitload of e-cigs.
Yeah.
In fact, I know of one young lady who is being ousted from the stop smoking service that she worked in. Again, she's another good lass. I've met her a few times. And I've suggested she opened a vape shop. And she could do that for half of what it costs for a 12-month quit. And how many people would fully switch because she did that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
See, this is the problem. This is the big challenge. E-cigs, no, not Cyromorph, somebody else, Nikki. E-cigs have completely, totally and utterly buggered up Ash because it's exposed all of their lies. It's buggered up a whole host of other people because it's exposed, well, all of the tobacco control, because it's exposed all of their lies. Because they've lied so much about e-cigs, people have taken the chance and the time to go and have a look and see what else they've lied about, and they've done nothing but lie to us for the last 40 years, I'm here to tell you. It's exposed the shortcomings in the stop smoking services, and as much regard as I've got for Robert West, 16,000 extra is bullshit. 2.8 million vapers in the UK now, over 1.5 million of them are fully switched, so they're not smoking anymore, and there's a further 1.3 million that have not only quit smoking but have quit vaping as well, and it's the only time you're going to hear me say that word. But they have. They are no longer smoking, they're no longer vaping. That's 2.8 million people in total that are not smoking anymore thanks to vaping. How can anybody show those figures for the stop smoking services even over the last 20 years? Never mind 5 or 10. And this has happened over a short period from 2010. And that's fabulous. But it shows up the medicinal side of things. Now, that, I think, doesn't fit very well with the game plan for Ash and for various other bodies, because they're going to be done out of a bloody job, and they know it. And they're being done out of a job by people who don't have vast conflicts of interest. Everybody that knows me knows what my take on this is. I don't give a tuppenny toss whether you smoke, vape, snooze, snuff. I don't care. I don't care if you shove toffee wrappers up your arse for your enjoy. I don't care what you do. It's none of my business. If you get pleasure out of it and you enjoy it, that's fine. If I don't like it, don't expect me to join in. That's where I am. I don't give a toss. I'm not seeking to convert smokers and make them vapors. I'm not none of that kind of stuff doesn't interest me in any way, shape or form, but I do want the opportunity to be there for folks who decide they want to take the plunge to take the plunge. That's where I am. Am I wrong?
No, I wouldn't say so. Definitely not.
Fly Vape Life has said, don't they realise that people storing nicotine in the house is going to be more dangerous to kid? And Sputs has asked, what's it like shoving toffee wrappers up your arse? I've never tried it, mate. It was just something I came...
I wouldn't know. No.
Oh, what, in 10ml bottles? Right. Fly Vape Life is on. If you've got 40 10ml bottles, that's actually 40 better choices than having better chances of the kids drinking it than if you've got a litre bottle that they kind of lift. And you're right. You're right. I mean, look, the whole of the TPD, TRPR, call it what you want to call it, the whole notion of it is based on lies, it's based on innuendo, it's based on half-truths and mistruths, and it is complete and utter shite. We need to get shot of it. It's shite, get shot. Good hashtag, that.
It is, yeah. I believe I've seen a few of that flying around recently.
Yeah, somebody's adopted it as their Twitter name, and thank you for that.
Yes, I have seen. Yes.
Yes, and I call it crap. Well, it's quicker. Crap is quicker. That's from Gareth.
After all this, Dave. After all this, what's the TFV12 actually like?
I like it. It's a lot airier. You can get a much better, quicker drag than you do off the TFV8. The air holes are much bigger, and I've tried to be a good boy,
right?
Because I do know that there are people out there that get a little bit scared by great massive plumes.
Okay. Yep.
They shouldn't be. And we need to educate them not to be. But I know some are. So what I've done is I've whacked it up to... Hang on. Oh, this is going to be clever. Let's see if I can do it. I've whacked it up to, and I hope you'll be able to see that, 160 of Her Majesty's watts.
Lovely.
Right? And what I do is short drags. And this is it'll bugger the green screen up, but I'll chop one at the camera.
That's very stealthy, actually, I've got to say. I mean, you wouldn't know you're using that one.
Yeah, you would. As you can see. It's very, very good. Now, I had heard reports, and indeed somebody contacted me via Facebook Messenger. Well, I'll talk about the 160 watts in a minute, Spuds. I got contacted that she'd heard horror reports of this thing leaking all over the place.
Uh-huh.
And with 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, where the first number is the VG, then yeah, it will. Because it's intended to be used with 80-20, 90-10 and 100% VG. That's how it's intended to be used. So if you use a thinner liquid, it very likely will pittle out because it's meant to wick. It's a cloud beast. It's meant to wick. And I've had no issues with that at all. It has not leaked one drop. You can, well, I'll shove it back on camera. Seeing as how we've got it, you can see inside, look. And this is against a white reflector that I use for photography purposes. It's as dry as a witch's tit in there. No problem at all. No problem at all. By God, laddie. Go on.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I kind of wish that they would actually start putting recommended sort of VG levels on a product.
It would be good. It makes a lot of sense to do that. Just purely and simply on the basis that if you were to go and buy, I don't know, an Innikin T18 or the vape equivalent thereof, if you put 100% VG in there, you're going to get dry hits left, right, and centre.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but then
it's something I come up against in the early days of me vaping. I was putting thicker liquids in. I mean, I say thicker. I say 50-50 was thick then.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why it didn't wick. You soon work it out.
Well, yeah, you do, but
it's a step you don't need to do, really.
Well,
you shouldn't need to do.
That's exactly right. I mean, somebody's just commented on the airflow. Let me show you the two of the tanks, the two of the cores rather that come. This one is the quad. Whoops! Put the other one up, David. You silly sod! What are you doing? What a fool! I do apologise. I've pressed the wrong buttons. That there is that's a. It's not that big a hole, Matt.
Aye.
That's the quad. Look at the size of the holes on there.
I'd just like to point out, if anyone's playing along with the VTTV drinking game this evening, Yella Lawless has just said she doesn't like something. So that's a couple of swigs there for you.
Yeah, there you go. That's I think I should have somewhere. Put that back on camera, David. Where
That looks like a set of binoculars.
It does a bit. I'm just going to try and get hold, because I have one handy, a drip tip off your mouth to lung device, which I will hold up alongside. Look. You'll see it in a sec, Matt. That's a drip tip from a mouth to lung device. And it's a wide bore drip tip from a mouth to lung device, is that? So that's one of the quads, and that's the other one.
Do you remember the mouthpiece I made for the TFV8?
Uh-huh.
I have it here.
Woohoo! The thing is, and this is a little bit upskittling in many ways, and I've completely lost which buttons I should be pressing. 2 is the one I want. Right, there we go. Unfortunately, the cores are not the same sizes for the TFV8. They're bigger. They're wider, which is a little bit of a shame in many ways. So your little dripping top cap thing will not fit on one of these cores.
That's all right. Just send me the outside diameter. I'll make another one.
I'll get my micrometer out and sort that out. I should also point out that in the box you get another glass, and you can see how big that is. If I stick it on my finger, that's not being rude, but there's the glass. You can see how thick that is, because I'm not a small boy. And you get also a whole host of rings and sealy bits and stuff to go with it, and an extra one for the top.
You get a rebuildable bit with that one?
No, there's no rebuildable bit in it.
No?
And I've got to say, these 12 coil cores are rated at 0.12 ohms, 80 to 350 watts, best between 130 and 200 watts.
Bloody hell.
All right. No, you've persuaded us, Matt. I'll turn it up. 203.
You took so much coercion there.
I know, it's terrible, terrible. 203 watts. Here we go. There you are. Doesn't need a lungful. Actually, that's bloody nice.
I am almost tempted to actually spend some money.
Well, if it wasn't for the fact that you would be making somebody act illegally, I would highly recommend that you did that. But if the person from whom you intend to purchase doesn't mind acting illegally, then go for it.
Aye.
What do you mean? Look at that. There's 12 coils in it. Of course the juice is going to go down. It's like having 12 drags on a mouth-to-lung device. In one. I've turned it back down to 160 now.
A modest 160. Christ, I'm only vaping at 90.
I've never been up that. Woo! I've never been up that high. And yes, things have changed a tad from the old single coil Kanga jobs.
Yeah.
Now, I need to point out at this point in time, I have no problem with mouth to lung. One of my devices is, and it's the device that I tend to use when I'm driving for fairly obvious reasons.
Yeah, I do similar.
I have no problem with that. I would never decry anybody that mouth to lung vapes. That's great. And you don't need to feel a wimp for vaping at 13 watts, Super 7. The bottom line on all of this is, if it feels good, do it. If it gives you the pleasure and enjoyment and satisfaction that you're looking for, brilliant. Great. Like I said before, I don't give a toss. If you enjoy it, if you like doing it, and you don't expect me to, I'm good with it. Just don't try and make me do something I don't like. The pleasure principle in practice. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Isn't it?
On the subject of vaping in cars.
Yes.
Have you taken great pleasure? I'm sure you might have done, because I do. Sit in the traffic lights these days and you see queues of people coming out.
Wind the window down.
All right.
Get it. It was funny actually. You know, I go to these bike meets on a Sunday night and a Wednesday night, and there's a guy gets down there called Tom. He's a lovely lad, Canadian he is, from Canada. And he always videos when he arrives so that people can see how many folks are there and so on and so forth. And he put it up onto his timeline. And he came down and he said, "Hello, eh?" As they do. He says, "I can always tell when you're here because there's bloody great clouds of vapour going up." And I said, "That's interesting." He says, "Why is that?" I said, "Because I haven't had a vape yet." And then he looked around and there was little gaggles of lads and lasses stood around and there's these bloody great clouds going up, and I thought, not just me then.
Have these little pockets of vapour increased since you started attending these meets by any chance?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. There was a time you would go down there and walk around the bike meet and you would smell Marlboros and embassies and God knows what else. Now it's custard, it's cherry, it's blackcurrant. There's all kinds of vapours floating about the place, and there's an awful lot of dual users as well. The lads that have got top boxes and panniers and places where you can store something so it's not in your pocket will tend to carry the e-cigs. The lads that are riding a sports bike, so they've got to put their stuff in their pockets, they're sensible. They've worked out if they fall off and clatter an 18650, there's every opportunity of their leg going postal.
Yeah, you don't really want that, do you?
No. Whereas, you know, a Zippo, that's just going to go clattering down the road. Yes. There's a lot of the bikers will only smoke at the bike meets because they can't carry their e-cigs sensibly. But I've seen a few with double shoulder mounted man bags.
Okay.
And then they get off the bike, the man bag comes off, the little rucksack thing comes off, hand goes in, out comes a mod. So, you know, in fact, in this part of the world, up in the northeast, I see more vapors than smokers every day now.
It's starting to see this. I'm starting to see the same around here. In fact, one of the young apprentices come wandering out at lunchtime sometime last week with an e-cig. I said, "Bloody hell!" I was wondering how long it'd take you to switch, because he always come out of a bag of baccy and rolled one up and carried on. And he goes, "Yeah, I thought I'd give it a go." He says, "I thought I'd see what it's like to switch to these things." I my ears pricked up when he said that. I mean, he's only a young lad. I don't think he's even 20. And he's got his head screwed on right. He did his research. He's not quitting.
He's switching.
He's switching. And he got it right.
Get in. Right. Yeah, that kind of leads back into where we were with the whole medicinal thing. Bottom line on it is if we keep on using the quit word, then it's going to land our friends in the States in hot water, because it's not the vendors over there that are constantly harping on about e-cigs being used to quit. It's bloody vapors. Switch. Switch. Switch is the word, not quit. They're not for quitting. They're for enjoying, with the side effect of you don't smoke anymore.
Well, here's the thing, actually. I was at my place of work again. I was talking to a couple of the girls that vape now. And we was chatting away about how we started. You know, you always do, don't you?
Aye.
And both of them turned around and said they started to quit smoking. And I said, "Who told you they were for quitting smoking?" They couldn't actually answer me.
No. They're not. I mean, if you talk to Louise, talk to Sarah, Salim Sartoni, talk to Nikki, any of them, they'll all tell you, you're not quitting nicotine. So there's no cold turkey.
Yeah.
You're switching to something that is, in my mind at any rate, safe enough and good enough. If you can find the right thing for you, it's safe enough, it's good enough. You're not quitting. You're just finding a different, safer, more pleasurable way of doing what you did before. It's got nothing to do with quitting. And we can't let the tobacco controllers guide us down that route, and they will if they can, because that way they get control and we can't allow them to have it. They can't be allowed to control our lives. They shouldn't be allowed to control our lives, and I won't bloody let them control my life or anybody else's if I've got anything to say about it. You control your own life, you make your own decisions. We are autonomous beings, and we should be left that way. That's the libertarian inside the fat lad that is Dave Dawn speaking to you now.
There's a comment in chat, actually, and I think you should field this one. Leanna Lawless said, or asked, why vape with no flavour?
Why not?
Aye. If you like it, why not?
The thing is, maybe I'm strange, I don't know, but there's nothing on the planet that has no flavour that I'm aware of.
No, I can't think of anything.
Even water has a flavour, and you know this, Leanna, you know this. You have a glass of water out of your tap, go 10 doors down and have a glass of water out of their tap, and it'll taste different. It just does. It does. The flavour in flavourless juice, the one that I make for my wife, has ethyl malt on it. It's slightly sweetened. It's 100% VG. She enjoys it. It suits her. And it tastes different depending on what she's been eating or what she's been drinking. And it tastes different depending on which device she's got it in and what mood she's in. But it doesn't matter what she's been eating, drinking, or what she's vaping it in. The flavour suits her, or the lack of flavour suits her, because she's not getting used to it so that it blitzes the taste buds. The Scream Queen that I've got in here tastes like Scream Queen. I've got the whole biscuity thing going on and the custard creaminess of the whole thing going on in here, which I wasn't getting out of that, because it's a different setup, so the flavours come back. But I'll have a day or two on flavourless if I lose the flavour in the Scream Queen, and it happens. If you were to drink straight whiskey all night, after the 10th you don't taste anything. Isn't that right, Matt?
Aye, but then you don't really care either.
No, that's true. That's very, very true. Look, there are people love custard vapes, there are people love berry vapes, there are people love milk vapes, cake vapes, every flavour under the sun. There's probably somebody somewhere that actually really likes the pizza vapes, and God bless them. You know, they're entitled to like what they like. I wouldn't thank you for 2 drops of the vile stuff, but if it feels good, do it. If it gives you pleasure, that's what it's all about.
Right. There's vapors out there that will vape purely because they can produce a cloud.
Yes.
I don't care what it tastes like.
No.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
If it's doing what it needs to do for them, as in what they need it to do, and I keep on hearing, and it keeps them off the smokes. It's a byproduct. It just does. Right? You don't need to say that. If it gives them the pleasure that they're seeking and it does what they need it to do, great. That's all you need to know. Be happy for them. Be happy for people getting pleasure. I've never ever understood, and I never will understand, this thing about, them rotten bastards have been away on holiday for 17 weeks, let's get hot as the cobs, and here's me just struggling on in the snow. Well, be happy for them, because at some point they're going to be sat over there going, oh God, I wish I was back in the cold and the snow with Billy Bob Thornton and his mate Fred and my other mate Lisa, because we could be sledging on Penshire Hill. Be happy when people have pleasure. Be happy for them that they found the vape that they want to use, and encourage them. It's what it's all about. If we're going to have a community, if we are going to have a vaping community worldwide, we've got to be happy for everybody else. If we're not, and if we're constantly sniping and whinging at how other people and what other people vape, there is no community, and we've lost the bloody fight. be happy for people, please. Am I wrong?
And as Morph says there, celebrate the vape.
Yes.
There we are.
Celebrate the vape. Let the pleasure principle work and make as many people as possible happy. Thank you for the +1, Sputs. I'm about knackered now. I don't know about you. Oh dear me, I'm sorry. If that went down your headphones and blew the wax out your ears, if you didn't want the wax blown out your ears, I'm sorry. If you did, you're welcome. What else have we got to talk about? What else do we need to cover?
Should we talk about my little experiment?
Yes. Can I introduce this?
Go on.
Because this is fantastic.
In fact, I might get you to say a few key words because someone might be listening.
Okay.
So you can fill in the blanks.
I'll fill in the blanks. I'll fill in the... Okay. Right, go for it, go for it, go for it.
Right. The other day I was asked by my better 3/4 to mix some liquid. So I did. And I'm sure Dave will tell you the next bit.
And he mixed it with no nicotine in it as an experiment to see whether she'd notice.
This was what, 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, yes.
3 weeks ago, yeah. No notice. No notice at all. And the bizarre thing is, about this time I'll be asked for another 100ml bottle.
With no nicotine in.
Yeah. There's still over half of it left.
How much would she normally get through a week?
Let's say 20 to 25ml.
So 3 weeks she'd have done 75ml, but she's only done 50.
Yeah.
And this is in a liquid which tastes the same as it did before.
The normal concentrate that she has, I've used.
But without any nicotine.
Ratio. Yeah, the same ratio.
I'll keep on saying that so you don't get into trouble and everybody understands what's going on. And this wasn't to be nasty, was it?
No, it was...
an experiment.
I was just curious.
Yes.
Just curious.
Cause it happened to me when I forgot to put the nick in a mix. And I didn't notice for 3 days. But your good lady hasn't noticed at all, has she?
No. Not even been questioned about it.
She's happy as Larry. I'm trying to say these things so he doesn't give it away. Because what I want to know, and seriously I want to know, how long it goes before she does question it. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree. One of two things is going to happen. It's going to go unnoticed forevermore. Or I'm going to come on this show on a Monday night with a black eye.
You should have whispered that.
Oh, shit. So I will keep you guys posted on it because it's quite... I expected it to run out quicker.
Gareth and Gavin has said she's going to twig it soon. Listen, if she hasn't twigged it after 3 weeks, I don't think she'll twig. I don't think it'll occur. Because I did a little bit of something similar with Jill. Because I noticed she was getting through gallons for her. So I upped her to 12. And she never noticed that, but she's not using it as much. And she did say, have we got new batteries that last longer?
Okay. Yeah.
But she's perfectly happy with it. What she does notice, and this gets to me, she can tell the difference between 7% and 8% of ethyl maltol. The 8% she loves, the 7% it's just not sweet enough.
You see, now the Analorus has gone 0 lax TH or throat hit. You know what? I'm not convinced it does.
I think it depends on the temperature. Because the one thing I did notice, whacking that up to 203 watts, there was more throat hit. I don't seek throat hit.
No, nor do I. And I don't think Caroline does either, to be honest with you. I will go through the details of the setup as well. She uses a sub-tank with Ni200 coils on a temperature-controlled device.
she's going to get the same temperature as she was before.
Mm,
and
exactly.
I would think the temperature on the back of the throat is probably more important to her than any irritation from the nicotine. Because that's all throat hit is just irritation.
Mm.
Minor, but it's there. But if temperature gives you a similar sort of irritation or a similar feeling, that's all you need, I think. What temperature does she vape at?
About 420 Fahrenheit, 420, 430.
Oh, it's not awfully hot.
No.
It's comfortable, it's a very comfortable level. It's about where Dave Kitson is as well.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, he's about there. And I was for a while. These days, with these TFV cores, find the wattage and stick to it, it's good, because they last forever.
Yeah.
They're brilliant that way. So yeah, you'll keep us updated on whether or not, well, we'll know. If you've got a black eye, we'll know.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I'm going to wind it up because I'm failing and my voice is starting to go and I can feel my nose is filling up, and you really don't want the sound of that getting emptied, people. You just don't. Apologies again from Marco on his behalf. He's got an absolute banging head. The cold's hit him and we both know what that's like.
Oh, yes.
Oh, once it hits the sinuses, it's just terrible. Taffy Jock has just said he's been convinced for a long time that Nick was a minor part of smoking. I think you're right. Yeah. I really do. I don't think it had that much to do with it. And Gareth has said, can we wish Marco well? Marco, we wish you well. Everybody wishes you well, mate. Get better soon. Get well soon.
Hang on, I just see someone in chat called Lloyd Johnson. Is that the same Lloyd Johnson that's one of the apprentices at my place of work?
If it's in our chat, you'll know in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, well, find out. Or I'll find out tomorrow.
We'll pass that on, Morph. Best wishes to Marco, yes indeed. It's been an interesting little unrehearsed show, hasn't it?
Yeah, as always.
I've never seen a review of anything done the way we did that one. But I must admit,
we don't do reviews anymore, do we?
No, but I quite like it. Quite like that. Quick show, does it work? I get one.
Yeah.
It's all good. Thank you very much, Gareth and Gavin, who said good show as always. We try to please, but sometimes we get tired. In my case, because I'm getting old. In Matt's case, because he's still getting out with his bloody... It was man flu, let's be honest. We've had man flu.
Yeah, that's right, yep.
It's been a cross between Lassa fever, Bury. Have I ranted tonight, like Paul? He said the show's not complete without a rant. Have I ranted? Have I?
It's not the same Lloyd Johnson. There we go.
Oh, well.
But, yeah.
I didn't think I'd ranted that much tonight.
No, not really. I mean, you sat on the fence a little bit, to be fair. But...
I always do. It's very much the safest place to be. So, that's it then. Shall we say night-night, Matt?
Okay, night-night, Matt.
Not quite what I had in mind, but it'll do.
Oh, all right then.
What we got lined up for next week?
We'll work it out in around about 7 days' time.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody, whether you've been on Periscope or whether you've been watching live on YouTube or whether you've been watching live on our website. It's always a great pleasure and privilege to have you along, and a great honour for us, because we're just generally 2 or 3 lads just sitting chewing the cud and shooting the shit.
Just sitting having a little chin wag, like.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I'm hoping to be bringing you some further news next week. We'll see how that all pans out. I can't tell you what. I daren't even hint at it, but it's good. And as soon as I can tell you, I'll tell you. But until then, from all of us here, thank you so much for joining us. Spread the pleasure, spread the joy. Tell everybody to watch. You know you want to. And no, that's the wrong one. That's the right one. And we'll see you all next week here on VTTV Monday. Until then, vape on. Come on. Vape hard. And don't let that evil witch Arnott grind you down. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Ta-da.